And we are back, Sam, for the home event, the big home event of the year. Sam, hope you're going well. Before I get too deep into it, how are you doing? Really excited for UFC 304 in Manchester. But as I said, how are you doing, and what are your thoughts for this weekend?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, really looking forward to it. Obviously, we are going to be there uh, doing a few bits. So the lads will be at the show. We'll be enjoying that one through the night in Manchester. We were just chatting, weren't we, about how does it work, like drinking wise and all that kind of stuff. How we're going to like strategically plan the evening. I know the fighters have been doing it, getting up at various times. Tom Aspinall through the night training. I was listening to Arnold Allen the other day, staggering his sleep times over the last few weeks or so to get himself acclimatized for a 3 a.m. Fight in Manchester. So the fighters have been doing it, and we're doing it with the booze, trying to work out what's the best strategies. If you've got any tips, let us know. But yeah, we'll be on it Saturday night.
Yeah, we'll be at it. Plenty of content coming during the night. We'll be doing little videos, just keeping your fan obviously updated, showing what it's like to be at an event. Obviously, hopefully, maybe see a couple of you there. But let's get into it, Sam. We've got something different today, haven't we, for the 304 event? Obviously, um, we're going to do a UFC 304 draft, bit American style. So bear with us. I'll quickly explain the rules. We're going 5 rounds. We're both going to pick a fighter in the first few rounds. Every round, we're going to pick a fighter that takes him off the board for the night. So if I pick Tom Aspinall with my first pick, that means he's off the board for Sam. The winner is who has the most wins out of their team of 5 for the draft. So we'll both go pick for pick. And at the end of it, we'll come to you next week and we can do a review of the event, talk all about it, and see who picked the best UFC 304 team for the night, me or the man himself, Sam. Sam, any other comments or what you're thinking before we dive into it?
Yeah, I'm terrible on American sports and drafts, so you might have to guide me through a little bit. But I'm there. I'm understanding it. I'm ready to rock and roll. Okay, let's have a go.
So I've got the pen and paper here, Sam. We've got everything wrote down. So round number 1, as you are like you said, as you're still getting used to the American draft style, I'm going to let you pick first. I might regret it if I lose. But you pick first, Sam. Who is going to be your UFC 304 first round draft pick?
I think I'm going to go for Tommy Aspinall.
Oh, that's a say. Yeah, great.
That'll be. I think that first one with Blades. Obviously, we only saw 15 seconds or so of it, and I've just been looking at it this week. I just feel Blades in that 15 seconds, and it was a brief snapshot, but he looked like he was willing to trade with Aspinall and get stuck into the fight. And I think if you look at Blades' record, he's one of those guys, top 5 guys. He's come up against when he's come up against the best. And had that to take that next step. He's kind of come up short. He's lost twice to Ngannou. He lost that one to Derek Lewis, and he lost to Pavlovich as well before Aspinall fought him for the interim title off the back of that Aspinall injury. So I think Blades is a guy that could potentially draw this out if he wanted to with his wrestling style. Although I just do think Tom's got really good takedown defense and really good wrestling, and with his camp and all the heavyweights in there, he's getting this kind of regular training and sparring with all different kinds of heavyweight styles. So I think Aspinall is going to be too well rounded. He's taking the game a lot more serious since that injury. He's talked about changes to his health and his diet and things like that, and just his general attitude around fighting. And maybe he was, just maybe winging it a little bit before then. Obviously, he's supremely talented. He moves incredibly well for a guy 6'5", 261 pounds for his last weigh-in. So, he's getting the finishes. Pretty much all of his fights, are ending early doors. Only one in the UFC has gone to the second round. So, Aspinall, when he hits you, they tend to panic. when he catches them clean. So I think he's going to do that to Blades. It's only going to be a matter of time. Obviously, it's heavyweight MMA. Blades could land, but for me, Aspinall is the one I'm looking at as the safe one.
I like it, Sam. So, just obviously for people who are watching, so that means I cannot pick Tom Aspinall later in the draft. He's off the board. That's a good safe pick and probably one safe win for Sam going into the later rounds. For my first round pick, Sam, I'm going the featherweight. One of my favourite fighters. I think he's had a couple of losses recently, but I think he's got this one in a comfortable win. I'm going the featherweight Arnold Allen. Really, really like his style. Obviously, he's lost 2 in a row now to Max Holloway. I don't think there's any shame there. I don't think anyone's judging him for losing. Max, we've seen what Max has done the past couple of years to the likes of even people in the weight class above him, to Gaethje. And he's lost a close fight to that Movsar Evloev. Probably butchering that name as normal. But yeah, so he's lost 2 in a row. But he's a great fighter. He had a great fight against Max. By no means was it anything embarrassing. Didn't get knocked out, as obviously we've seen Max can do. He went a 5-round decision. He's a good stand-up fighter and he's well-rounded. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. That Movsar Evloev, he just got slightly outdone again, but he's against Giga Chidatse, and I don't see it with him. They both fought Calvin Kattar. Obviously, Arnold Allen beat Calvin Kattar pretty comfortably. If we're doing MMA math, which we never like to do, Sam, but obviously he has lost to. He did lose to Giga Chidatse. Did lose to Calvin Kattar, so that's just shows a bit of where we're at here. I think Arnold Allen's the level above, too well-rounded. Giga Chidatse is a brilliant stand-up fighter, but he's 35 now. My man Allen's 30 years old, just coming into them prime for 3 or 4 years in that featherweight division. And I think he's going to go on a good run here to maybe fight for the title. He's learned a lot in these past 2 losses. He's a great person, still trains under his dad. Go read a bit about him. He's a brilliant person, got a brilliant story. I've got a safe win here, Sam, in my first round with Arnold Allen.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I fancy Allen as well to win. Yeah, obviously he's had those 2 back-to-back losses, but yeah, tough to fight Evloev. With the way he just grabs all the. But I think he was coming on strong, wasn't he? Towards the end of that fight, was a bit unlucky with the knees as well, with Evloev raising his hand. So yeah, I like Allen. I think that's a nice pick.
Round 2, Sam. Who are you going with for your first pick?
Well, I thought you were going to go for Leon, so I'm going to go for Leon. And I'm taking the top 2 guys on the on the card in the title fights, obviously with the most on the line. I just like Leon for this one. I just do, probably out of all the fights, and I like maybe I'm doing Bilal down, like Bilal gets done down by a lot of people. But I just think Leon probably has too much for Bilal here. Obviously, Bilal's got that kind of wrestling pedigree and background. His striking has evolved. In the last few fights, I was looking in his last 2, in fact, against Gilbert Burns. Even though Gilbert Burns was kind of one-armed for most of that fight, wasn't he? And against Sean Brady, where he got the stoppage. That actually Bilal's not shot a takedown in either of those 2 fights. So he's took these kind of one of those that's maybe fallen in love with his hands a little bit, and I think that attitude will be terribly dangerous against Leon, who's, as we know, a supreme kickboxer. But even if he does choose to wrestle, we've seen Leon against Colby, we've seen him against Usman a couple of times now, and he has a really strong takedown defense. And he's come off the back of those fights. All right, he struggled in the first one at altitude against Usman, but coming off the last 2, he's shown what he's all about. He's a true mixed martial artist, Leon Edwards, and I don't know. I just can't see Bilal having his way and kind of ragdolling him for 5 rounds, or getting success on the feet against him. So I'm kind of thinking Leon gets this done. Similar maybe to the Kobe fight. I don't know. Maybe I'm being overly biased, but Leon Edwards got to be my second pick if you're not having him.
Yeah, I know I might live to regret that one, Sam. I don't know who you would have picked as your second round one, but yeah, you've got the co-main and the main event ticked off. I don't think I'll be picking their opponents at any point during, even at the end of the draft. So yeah, I think you've got two safe picks there. Sam Leon's ready to rumble, and he's not losing in front of this crowd. My second round pick, Sam, I'm going someone who most people I doubt would have heard of, the casual fans. I don't want to call them casual fans. To be fair, he's that well down that probably most fans haven't heard of him. He's against an opponent that I don't rate very highly. And his name's Sam Patterson. He's in the welterweight division. He's a tall, lanky fighter. He's moved up a weight. He looked very skinny, a bit too light in the weight division below. He's now moved up. He's filled out a bit, and he's against a man that I don't rate very highly as a fighter. I hope I don't live to regret them words. But Kiefer Crosby, if you're a fan of your fun, random fights, he famously fought Aaron Chalmers in a bit of a celebrity, even though Aaron Chalmers did have a few professional fights, to be fair to him. But Kiefer Crosby is the man who beat Aaron Chalmers. He doesn't look the same fighter since coming to the UFC. He looks a bit downsized, looks like he's a bit put on a bit of weight. It's not as trim, not as strong and muscle bound as he once was. I think Sam Patterson's got this. He's a well-rounded fighter. He's learned from his mistakes, put on weight. Sometimes being that weight bully doesn't work out because you've not got enough muscle, not got enough power behind you. I think he's got too much for Kiefer Crosby. Like you said, I think if Kiefer wasn't Irish, didn't have a bit of a name to him, he wouldn't be in the UFC. Sam Patterson's 11-2, one no contest, and I think he's got this one, Sam. So for the fans who are watching the early prelims, who may be still awake at this time at 11 o'clock at night, fancy tuning into the fights to get invested, join me. Put a bit of money on Sam Patterson. It should be an early win for you to get your night going.
Yeah, like it. Yeah, Sam Patterson. Yeah, I fancy him as well. Obviously, had that knockout loss in his first fight, bounced back. And yeah, you would think he'd have too much for Kiefer Crosby at this stage of his career.
This is where it gets interesting, Sam, because I think the odds get a bit closer here, and then you start having to be brave with your picks here. So we're in round 3. Who's going to be your pick?
I'm going to go also down the card for this, so we can maybe have early doors. We can have a bit of drama, and maybe I could potentially go 1-0 up here with Mick Parkin, another heavyweight facing Lucas Breznik. That bit of Polish power, or not, maybe as the case may be, although I could live to regret that. But Parkin, 28, he's 3-0 in the UFC, 9-0 as a pro, also unbeaten as an amateur. I've actually seen him a couple of times in the amateur days when I used to do some of the streaming stuff back then on Almighty Fighting Championships and stuff like that. So I've seen Mick Parkin a couple of times in the early days up close. But in the UFC, 3-0, which difficult to do as a heavyweight. He got a unanimous decision against Mohammed Usman last time out, and Usman, another guy that's come in. He's won one, lost one kind of guy. You're in that heavyweight division, finding defeat. So I think to go 3-0 for Parkin is decent. He got a submission win on the Contender Series. He was regularly KOing people. Pre UFC on the kind of scene before then. He's training with Aspinall out of that Wigan heavyweights beast gym. And yeah, I just fancy him to get the win here. Bresky's 1-3 in the UFC. Got a losing record. He lost to Waldo Cortez Acosta. Got a knockout loss to him. His win in the UFC was against Johnny Walker's brother, Volta. But I think Mick Parkin looks a pretty safe bet to me in this one. Hopefully, go and get the knockout win and start to make a bit of a statement after 3 decision wins. But Mickey Parkin for me to get the heavyweights off to a good start.
Sam, I'm absolutely devastated. You've stole my third round pick. To be honest with you, that's literally who I had loaded up. I was ready to give a similar speech. You know, you've seen him at the amateurs, obviously, so I'm happy you got to pick him and talk about him more. But yeah, out of the Tom Aspinall gym, this freak heavyweight gym where there's about 5 or 6 of them, all at the heavyweight division, all training with Tom. I think that's going to pay dividends in this one, Sam. So yeah, devastated you've stole my pick, and yeah, that might make you one up, because I think the rest of the fights are all pretty close in odds. Where I think that was the last one for me, where it was, like you said, pretty evident. Well, not evident, but you can never say that in heavyweight UFC, can you? But pretty strong, confident that Mick Parkin's winning that one with you, Sam. So yeah, devastated. So my third round pick, I'm going to go. I'm going to say a person who I hope I don't fall for the social media curse here, because I've been following the fights, been following a lot of the build up, and this person is in the best shape of her life. I'll give it away. She looks incredible. She's lean. She's ripped. She looks hungry as ever. Obviously, after a couple of losses, she's been up and down all her career after famously running around with the belt saying, "I'm coming." Didn't quite work out for her, but I've watched her in 2018 on the Wonder Boy v Darren Till card, where she got knocked out. I don't think she's doing it again. She loves fighting in England. Where she got choked out. She loves fighting in England. Like I said, she's in the best shape, but I don't. That's what they're all saying. Paddy said it. If you watch the videos of her, she looks mean. She looks hungry. I don't think this Bruna Brazil can match that. Paddy's been saying Molly's ground game's been getting even better, and we know what she can do on the stand up. She can throw flying elbows. She's got good hands. She can knock people out for the women's division that do struggle to knock people out simply because they sometimes don't have the power. She does. She's coming and she looks nasty. She looks hungry for one final run. I'm going Molly Meatball McCann, Sam, as my third round pick.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I think Molly wins here. Yeah, I think that's a decent shout. Yeah, she is looking in good shape. And I think mentally she's looking a lot better as well. Obviously now at strawweight as well. So I think, I think Molly gets it done. Yes, that's a decent pick. So we could be level maybe at this point. I don't know.
Oh, don't. Yeah, I don't. Because you've gone the. I like your team better than mine at the moment, but I've got some late ones coming for you, Sam. But yeah, it's your pick, round 4. Who have you got? Where it gets tough. Where the money's made, Sam.
It's getting tough. I'm going to go, I think, for Nathaniel Wood. He's a great fighter, and I think here against Daniel Pineda, he's perhaps just got too much for him. But Pineda now 38 years old. He's not been seen since last June against Alex Caceres, where he lost that fight. I think he did. He's 5-6 in the UFC, in his second run now with the UFC. I just think Nathaniel Wood's just too good here. He's 7-3 in the UFC, 19-6 as a pro. He lost in his last fight against Mohamed Naimov. That was back in October at UFC 294. But before that, he was on a good little streak. Beat Andre Fili, Charles Jourdain, Charles Rosa as well. The other thing about Wood is that I don't know how he's. I think for someone that's quite talented, he's had a bit of a stop-start. He's actually been in the UFC since 2018. I don't think he's probably made the progression that he would have wanted to, or that I think many people would have thought that he would. But at 30 years old, still young in the game, still able to progress. He's a good striker, and I think just against Daniel Pineda, I think that's it could be a fun fight, this one, and I just fancy Wood to get it done.
I like it, Sam. Yeah, I'm same as you. I think I've watching his last couple of fights, especially the ones that he loses. He seems to have an unlucky angle to it every time. I think in the last fight that he lost, he got kneed in the in the nether region, and the ref did nothing about it. It definitely affected his performance. And I thought, what the last fight that he lost, I think was it a dodgy decision or close decision that it just didn't go his way. So I'm with you. I like Wood. I'd love to see him to have a bit more of that nasty streak in him, Sam. A lot of the few English fighters, I think Leon himself sometimes, where they don't have that streak where they just go for the kill. I think Darren Till didn't have it either. He'd knock them down, and they're just, I don't know. I want to see a nastier streak rather than seeing this beautiful performance. I want to see him get in there, get the finish, and end the night nice and early, and have a good night for him, and he can move on pretty quickly, because I think he can. I think he can do it. So I'm with you. I like the pick. I was devastated again. My fourth round, I have to go risky here, but I do think he gets the win. I'm going Paddy the Baddy. I'm going Paddy Pimblett. I do think he gets the win. Obviously, we all know what Paddy is. Megastar. Talk 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, we're talking megastar, talking the next rising, surging star. He's obviously had a rough couple of years, to be fair to him. Obviously, that decision win that he got, that everyone thought he lost, he's obviously his world on social media has not quite gone the way of good like they thought it was. He's done the interview destroying Ariel Hawani. That rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I think this is a get right fight for him. I think Bobby Green, 39 years old. He's old. He's had loads of fights in the UFC. I just think unless Bobby catches him for the knockout, I think Paddy's got too much for him in the ground, in the grappling. Paddy's he's definitely got a few weaknesses in the stand-up. He's very chinny, leaves his chin open. So he's definitely there to be knocked out and caught eventually. But I think history tells you he doesn't actually get knocked out. He gets hurt and he does get beat. And he has been beat before, obviously, on the 3 losses. But I don't think he gets clean knocked out. And I don't think Bobby's got the output and the overall game just to win this one on decision. I think Paddy the Baddie does get his hands on him, does win a round or a round and a half easily with his grappling, and then hopefully the stand-up's close enough that he gets the win here, Sam. Obviously, if we look at both performances versus Tony Ferguson, a common opponent, I thought Paddy was much more impressive than Bobby Green's win. Paddy absolutely dominated Tony. I was shocked about it. I thought it might be a rough matchup with Tony's ground game also being famously pretty good, but I think Tony's probably gone now. I don't think he's got that quite talent, that same scramble speed that he had, but yeah, I think Paddy gets the win here. Bobby's an aging fighter. There's still something left in Paddy, and I think with the fans either cheering, there'll be some fans cheering, there'll be some fans booing, but it's time to get the English crowd back on his favour, and I think he'll do it with a good performance here.
Nice, yeah, I fancy Paddy as well. I'd go Paddy. I think Bobby Green, he's obviously been there. You know, he's loads of experience on his record, but 13-10 in the UFC. You know, and I think when he comes up against these days someone a bit more youthful, that he kind of comes up short. I think he's good for kind of those kind of veterans matchups, and he'll tend to win those like he did against Jim Miller at 300. And I think if he's fighting the older guys, he can beat them, like a Tony Ferguson as well. But put him against someone a bit younger, a bit hotter in ability at this stage, then I think he comes up short. So I'd go Paddy as well.
Like it, Sam. Well, we're in the final round. There's not many obvious choices anymore. There's 1 or 2 names I'm considering, but I'm nervous about. But it's your pick, Sam. Who is your final UFC 4 draft show pick to go into fight night? We'll be sat next to each other. We'll be slaughtering each other. But this is where the money might be made. I'm looking at 2. I'm not going to give away the other one. I'm looking at 2. One I think both actually are underdogs in the betting odds. Yeah, I think they are. Both are underdogs. One would end
a UK hype train. The other would also end kind of a UK hot streak. And I think I'm going for the second one, which is on the main card. I want to go for RoboCop, Gregory Rodriguez, to get the win over Chris Leroy Duncan. And just my thinking here is that I was kind of watching a bit back of some of Rodriguez's fights, and he can get drawn into a war, which I think would benefit Duncan. He's got really good striking. He's 3-1 in the UFC. If you give him the space, he's going to create some great angles. He's got loads of great kicks, great strikes, elbows. He's got everything in his game. But I think the thing that's with Leroy Duncan that's kind of not been tested yet too much is the grappling side of things. They both have a common loss, these two, to Armen Petrosyan. And in that third round against Petrosyan, Leroy Duncan was coming on a bit strong, but Petrosyan managed to get the takedown and kind of see out the fight in those final moments. And it was a really easy takedown. And Rodriguez obviously has got this wrestling background to him, even though he does have 5 knockout wins from 6 UFC victories. So he's definitely got power in his hands. He loves to have a scrap, but he does have a wrestling base. And in his last fight against Brad Tavares, he wore him down. He wrestled him in those first couple of rounds, tied him out, and then got the finish on the feet in the third round. And if I was him, that'd be my game plan here. Wrestle early doors against Leroy Duncan, try and suck the energy out of the crowd a little bit, even though we don't want that at 2:30 in the morning in Manchester. And then, kind of later in the fight, end of round 2 into round 3, when Leroy Duncan's a little bit tired, he starts unloading. And, this guy, again, does have a lot of vicious strikes in his arsenal, some great knees, great elbows, so I'm thinking that if I'm Rodriguez, that I kind of follow that and try and follow that same game plan as against Tavares. And I think that would be a path to victory against Leroy Duncan. But I would like to see Leroy Duncan win and carry on his streak. But yeah, I think as an underdog, Gregory Rodriguez is a good one. So I think that's my final pick.
I like it, Sam. I like it. You're going brave to get the win, I think, there. So I like it, going on an underdog. You're gonna hate me here, Sam, but I'm gonna play safe. I'm gonna have my all English team. I'm playing safe. I'm playing boring. I've got to go the undefeated fighter. I actually like him. I like his personality. He's hungry, and it's Mohamed Mokaev. He's got a tough test. His toughest test of his career is against Manel Cape. I think you were going to go Cape. I think the person who you alluded to. Cape. I've got it figured out, Sam. I've got it all on. But I think Mokaev, I think he gets the win. I think he's too strong. He's obviously a world champion, British champion at wrestling. Got brilliant ground game. Obviously, part Dagestani, so he's got that. He's trained over there. He just needs to work on his stand-up, but I think he can do it. His wrestling's just unbelievable. Can Cape stop him taking him down? Maybe once or twice, but Mokaev's he's a mauler. He's going to keep coming. He's had some of the craziest submissions in UFC. He's had some. Was it a Suliev stretch? Let me just search that up.
Yeah.
He had a Suliev stretch. He's had arm triangles. He's had neck cranks. He's had some brilliant. He's had some brilliant submissions. He's had some close fights. He can definitely get beat on the stand-up. He's fought Alex Perez. He's fought a few where they've definitely beat him on the stand-up. But, man, I think he gets the win here. He's not losing. He wanted to be the youngest UFC champion of all time. I don't think he can do that anymore because he's had injuries. If you watched his fight where he nearly had his knee ripped out, it's one of the scariest fights I've ever seen. But he come through that. He's tough, he's durable. I think Cape will have to one punch knockout, one kick knockout, because obviously he's a kickboxer. I think he'll have one shot, because as soon as Mokaev gets close, he wins this one. I think Mokaev tries to finish this in the first round, gets him out of there, doesn't mess around with that stand-up. He can mess around with his stand-up against someone a bit less experienced and a bit less talented as Manel Cape. And I'm going first round submission here for Makayev, Sam. Let's have it. That's my take.
Yeah, I wish I'd have gone for him now, but I like Mokayev. He's sometimes hard to watch. He's very technical, and I like you said, his stand up, needs to improve a lot. And I think if Cat was in a bit better form, then I fancy him probably a little bit more. But he's kind of had a weird couple of years. That's very stop-start 2023. His fights dropped out with Cara France Figueiredo, Alex Perez as well. So he's kind of not maybe had the run into this that you kind of want in what is like a potential title eliminator at flyweight. But so far he's 4-2 in the UFC. He's got a good takedown defense. Actually, it's 77%. But like you said, that's gonna be tested extremely by Mokayev. He's not going to stop. As soon as the bell goes. But my thinking was if I was going to go for him, that he would potentially have that ability to catch Mokayev. His stand up has is wanting and needs to improve, and that potentially Cap has the power to put him away if he could catch him with a knee as he comes in or something like that. But hopefully Mokayev wins, and kind of goes on. We want to see the British guys getting the wins. But I'd have sided with Caps. That's going to have a little adds a bit of extra spice to that pick on the night.
Well, there you go, Sam. We've got our teams. We obviously talked about quite a lot of the fights there, and obviously a lot of predictions, a lot of bets. So listening to all our commentary on each fighter, because a lot of bets and a lot of angles are revealed there. Sam, take us through the next part of the show.
Yeah, we're going to quick fire and just go through, because actually I think it shows the strength of this kind of UK pay-per-view is that actually there's a UK participant in all the fights bar one, which is Shona Bannon against Alice Ardelin, Ireland against Romania. So in Soccer Aid style, we're going to go through the card just quick fire and see how many UK wins we can get on the card. Obviously, we've touched on some of them already, but we do have a real UK core to this card, which is good, and I think it's good for the UFC as well. I was thinking about this this week when I was starting to look at this card, because we've had like 300 and 299 was so heavy. The fact that 304 is so UK heavy, we're not relying on the big American stars to really come over and fill this, and 305 as well. Going to Australia is kind of filled with talent from that part of the world. That it kind of gives the UFC a bit of a breather in terms of these pay-per-views, and I think we're going to end up with obviously a decent card at the Sphere, and I think the back end of the year is going to be jam-packed as well. So I think we were kind of struggling on some of the cards a little bit to match them with the fact that everyone was out in kind of that first quarter on 299 and 300. But we'll quick fire through the UK v Polish, starting off in the order that I've got them, with Mick Parkin against Lucas Bresky. Obviously, I went for Mick Parkin in the pick. Joe, I think you pretty much said who you were going for.
Same as you, yeah. I think that Tom Aspinall gym that he's got, I think he's got too much. 9-0. Let's have Mick Parkin, first English winner on the night.
There we go. So that's 1-0 for both of us. Sam Patterson against Kiefer Crosby. I'd go Sam Patterson.
Yeah, you know me. One of my picks, Sam Patterson, gets the win comfortably here, Sam.
Mohamed Mokayev against Manor Cap.
Mokayev, but
Forward to the math on that one. I'm going to go Cap, as I just went outlined for. So that's 5-1 to the UK in our picks. Auburn Elliott against Preston Parsons, one we didn't touch on in our picks, not in any of our squads for this. Joe, who are you going for?
I'm not convinced by Auburn Elliott. He's beat Val Woodburn, but that's like me That's like me beating a guy off the street. Um, no offense to Al, no offense to Val Woodburn, but yeah, go on. I'm going Oban Elliott. I think the English are sweeping up. Come on, Oban. The English. Sorry.
I'm also going for him as well. So that gives us 7-1 UK. Modestas Bukauskas, born in Lithuania, moved to the UK when he was 3 years old, brought up in the UK, fights out of here as well. He's facing Marcin Bruchnio from Poland at light heavyweight. Who are you going for, Joe?
It's my first loss for the English. I'm going Marcin Puccino.
Ooh.
Yeah, sorry, Buskauskas. Sorry.
When I was doing my picks as well, I also went for him as well. Not that I was, yeah. I think they both kind of got this weird record where they kind of, I think Prachnio's got a losing record in the UFC. Bukauskas may as well, or pretty much on towards having one. So it's his second run in the UFC. Was cut first time round. So yeah, they both got the 3 and 4 for Bukauskas. He's 2 and 1 in this second run, though, so he's in a better form. But yeah, I'm going to go for the Polish power in this one as well. So that gives us 8-3 for the UK. We've got Colin Loughran against Jake Hadley. Hadley stepping up on short notice for this bantamweight one. Ireland against the UK. And again, none of these in our squads for the draft. Joe, who have you got?
I've got Cowlan. Got the 9-1 fight. Hadley's moving up in weight. I didn't realise when I was just saw the fight. He's moving up, and in his previous fights, he doesn't look big in the weight division below. So I think it's a crazy pick against a 9-1 fighter who showed a bit of talent. He's a strong lad. So I think size alone he wins this. Sam, I hate to say, as a 5'5" man myself, I hate to give someone the size advantage, but I've got to go. The size wins this one, even if Jake Hadley may have the talent advantage.
Yeah, I'm going Loughran as well. Yeah, pretty much agree with that assessment. So there we go. UK 8, rest of the world 5. As we move on to Molly McCann against Bruna Brazil. Joe, you've already nailed your colours to the mast of Molly.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Molly as well. Yeah, I agree with your earlier assessment. She's looking in good shape, mental shape as well. She seems a lot calmer these days. And yeah, I just don't think Bruna Brazil has enough. Next one, Nathaniel Wood against Pineda. I went for Wood in the draft pick. Who have you got, Joe?
Yeah, with you, Wood. Like I said, I think some unlucky losses over the years. Really like his fight style. I want to see him have that killer instinct. Maybe the losses will inspire that. Go finish the fight, Wood, and go get a good finish for the English fans. Start off the prelims.
Arnold Allen against Giga Chikadze. You went for Arnold Allen in the squad in the draft, and I'm also going to go for Arnold Allen. I think in this one, yeah, Arnold Allen gets it done. I went for Rodriguez in my draft pick. He's facing Christian Leroy Duncan, the UK. Who are you going for, Joe?
I'll go. I'll go with the English Sam. I've got to go with it. I think Christian Leroy Duncan. I think he's like I said, great stand up. Yeah, I'm not convinced, Sam. To be honest, I'm not convinced by him yet, like you said. But I'll go. The English gets the win. The hype train, the fan when he walks on, he's in the main event. It's saying here. So I think when he walks on, the fans will get behind him, and I think that energy will push him through for the win.
Yeah, main card slot for CLD, and yeah, I think this is potential fight of the night written all over it. As potentially does Bobby Green against Paddy Pimblett. You went for Paddy, looking in great shape. I said I'd go for Paddy as well, so I'm gonna have to stick with that. I am tempted a little bit by Bobby Green, but um, Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blades. I think I know the answer to this. I went for Tom Aspinall, my first round draft pick.
Yeah, same as you, Tommy Aspinall. What a legend! Can't wait to see him fight. It's probably I love Leon, but I'm probably more excited to see Tom than anyone I've ever been excited to watch. Love his fighting. He finishes him in the first round. And he's even got jiu-jitsu, which I respect about him. That if it goes to the ground, I'm not too worried if Curtis gets that early takedown. Tom's brilliant on the ground. Obviously, had some great submission finishers. I've got Tom Aspinall winning this one, Sam, all day long.
Yeah, has that one submission win, doesn't he? In the UFC, Tommy Aspinall, and then the main event. I picked Leon as my second pick. I just feel like he's going to get it done. Too strong, I think, in all areas. For Bilal, just slightly better. I think his takedown defense will hold up. Joe.
Yeah, same as you. Takedown defense, like similar to Tommy. Even if Bilal does get a takedown of that, Leon's got as we've seen against Colby, as we've seen against Usman, he can come back, he can get up, and he can fight back. And well, if that second Usman fight's got anything to go off, he might actually win some of these grappling exchanges, which would be amazing for Leon. And then on the stand up, there's only one winner. So yeah, Leon winning this one, Sam.
Oh, there we go. So that gives us a combined 21-6 for the UK. Getting the UK fighter this week. Joe's pretty much picking them all. But I think we're pretty even there across those. But yeah, going to be interesting and hopefully a very good night for UK MMA on Saturday at Manchester's Co-op Live Arena. So there we go, Joe. That is job done for another week. And we shall speak again on Saturday and see everyone on Saturday. Hopefully, posting up a few videos from the event and seeing how our draft pick goes. Are you happy with the squad?
I should have picked I should have picked Leon or Tom in my first round, Sam. Obviously, you got Tom, so I should have picked Leon as my first one. But other than that, yeah, very happy. Should be a great night. Maybe you a bit of interest, so we can get stuck into each other a bit on the night. Like you said, an English fighter pretty much in every single fight bar. Sorry, a UK fighter bar one, which if we extend to the whole United Kingdom, we've got an Irish person in there. So yeah, what a night for the Isles, the British Isles. We're on. It should be good. And Sam, can't wait to see you on Saturday. Loads of content coming. Let's have it.
Let's rock and roll. We shall see you again on Saturday, but the show will be back next week. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Sam.